The regional round of the IHSAA State High School Tournament happened this past weekend, and though we had several teams from the Fort Wayne area enter that round of the competition, only one still remains. We'll recap those matches and see what's ahead for the Blackhawk Christian boys as they enter the Class 1A state semifinals. Also, Fort Wayne FC just recently announced they are going with a new look as they enter a new league. We'll tell you what we know about the brand reveal party happening on October 23rd and invite you to come out and join us because we'll be there to be part of it. And the Next Gen College Soccer Committee released a white paper in conjunction with U.S. Soccer recommending some changes to the setup and the format and even the conferences of college soccer. We'll talk about that and what it means for today's high school athlete. All that tonight on episode 26 of Fort Wayne Footy. This episode of Fort Wayne Footy is brought to you by OmniSource, one of America's largest processors, distributors, and managers of scrap and secondary metals based right here in Fort Wayne. Check out their services at omnisource.com. Fort Wayne Footy is also brought to you by LaserX, the Midwest's largest laser tag and arcade. They specialize in birthday parties, corporate team building, youth groups, sports teams, and family entertainment. I've personally scheduled events at LaserX for each of those scenarios just mentioned and have never been disappointed. You can find them at laserxfw.com. That's laser with a Z. And if you get over there, be sure to tell them Fort Wayne Footy sent you. All right, welcome to episode 26 of Fort Wayne Footy. And I thought I lost one of our co-hosts there. Dustin, welcome to the show. We got a lot to talk about tonight as our high school teams finished up the regional round of the state competition here this last week. And a lot of good games, a lot of tough matches. Looking forward to recapping those. And we have Sam Meyer from Blackhawk joining us tonight to talk about what's next for them, for the Blackhawk boys, as they move on to the state semis. We got a lot of news happening with Fort Wayne FC Park, and they just recently announced a rebrand, which we'll talk about. Man, I'm really excited about that. And then the study that we mentioned here just in the intro, a lot of good stuff in there that we can unpack and talk about tonight. My name is Brian Biedenbach, hosting the show tonight here with Autumn DeMott and Dustin Diller. Autumn, welcome back to the show. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good, Brian. Thanks. It's good to be back.
And you were in a city that you just fell in love with, I think, right? You said last week you were away and hanging out. Where did you say?
I was in Austin, Texas. So
and you're not
I
moving.
enjoyed the warm weather. Yeah. No, I am not moving.
There's no plans.
Although they had really good barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever been to Austin, they do have good barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
And lots of dogs on tables at restaurants.
True.
I mean, that's my experience. Well, welcome back. Glad to have you back tonight, Autumn. Looking forward to tonight's show with you. Dustin, man, you were away too for fall break. Welcome back.
Ironically, Autumn and I saw each other in the airport flying to Austin, but on different flights to different cities. So like connecting flights, I guess. Mm-hmm. So I did also love Austin. I think it's beautiful there. We were by the lake and it was a men's mental health retreat and it was super fun. So but then we went to Tennessee and got back today about 3:00. So came in hot and ready to get back to routine and this.
So wait, you were in Austin too, first part of the week?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep, last week.
I didn't make that connection.
Yep.
How about that? All right.
Yeah.
You made your connection, your connecting flight.
We did.
Get there.
Yeah.
Never mind.
No, it was funny. I was like, where are you going? She was like, Austin. I'm like, I'm going to Austin too. And she's like, through Detroit? I'm like, no, through Chicago, but at the same time from Fort Wayne.
Were you both wearing your Fort Wayne Footy gear in the airport to show off?
Dustin was. That's why I was like, wait, that's a Fort Wayne Footy sweatshirt. And then I look up and it's Dustin and I was like, security, don't let him through.
They did, FYI.
Yeah. Just kidding.
Man, oh man. Well, good to have you guys back. And it's been a couple weeks since you both have been on the show. So I wanted to make sure you got some screen time tonight. Because I think people miss hearing from, at least Autumn. People miss hearing from Autumn. We hear that all the time.
Yeah,
Dustin,
they could care less. They could care less about me. It's
they were like
if Autumn's
nobody was like,
gone,
"Where's Dustin?" last week. They
that's
were
all
like,
right.
"Where's Autumn?" again? So, let's before we get too far into the show, we always like to start with this
soccer moment of the week.
So
it gets me every time.
Yeah, I always start with the one that laughs the hardest there, Autumn. So I'm gonna
no. Dang it. I mean, soccer moment of the week when it comes to my team, it was good to just reconnect. I had to hop on a flight, obviously. And so it was really hard to not be there for the sectional game for my team for many reasons. But when I got back, we had a team meeting, and I think just hearing all the recaps from the game and all the laughs, regardless of the score, I think it sums up our season pretty well. There's more important things than a winning season right now with what we faced this year as a team. So I feel like that was probably my soccer moment of the week. It was just good to be with them again.
Yeah, that's cool. Always good to be reunited with your team. Dustin, how about you?
Honestly, it was fun. We were away, but we were watching the games on my iPad in our little tiny house that we had down in Tennessee. So it was kind of fun to watch like all the sectional and regional games. It was fun to watch. But we were in Nashville for the last 4 days, and I don't know if you know, but Messi was playing in Nashville yesterday.
Oh.
So it was huge. And it was fun to hear all the hype about you don't hear a lot of hype about MLS all the time, but like when you're walking around downtown and you see a ton of Messi jerseys and they're talking about a game that's being played in the city, it was that was just fun to me. It was fun. My youngest was wearing his Messi jersey, so a lot of people were talking to him about it. So yeah, it was cool.
Was that accepted, like well received in Nashville?
Oh yeah,
he was wearing
Messi?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think more people were there to watch him play. In fact, people from Nashville were there to watch him play instead of watch Nashville SC. So, I can't speak for everybody, but it seemed that way from the people we interacted with. So,
yeah. So I went to an FC Cincinnati game in Nashville this season, and I'm involved in that, like the conversation a lot with FC Cincinnati, and Nashville always talks about FC Cincinnati as a big rival, and like, whatever it is, like there's a lot of like pre-MLS tension there. We got there and it was like empty. Like I couldn't believe, like my son and I were walking in, and the march, like the Nashville fans were marching in, and we were like converging at the steps to walk up the steps at the same time. And my son's like, "Dad, we're going to be in the Nashville march or we need to wait." And I was like, "No, let's hurry. Let's just get in front of them." So I'm walking in my Cincinnati Soccer Talk hat, filming like us leading the Nashville march, and it was like 20 people strong. And it was pretty lame. And we got in there, and yeah, it was a lame rivalry game. But so I'm glad to see people fill the stadium. Messi, I think, had a hat trick in that game.
He did,
I think.
Yeah.
So finished his golden boot. Finish that out strong. So cool. We don't need to talk about Nashville on Fort Wayne Footy, but that's a cool opportunity for you to be down there and to see what's going on in Major League Soccer around there. I'll say this, my moment of the week, like there was a lot of good ones, right? A regional semifinal win. We'll talk about that later. I don't need to talk about that too much tonight. But in the regional finals, I'll say, watching our team, Homestead, compete with the state runner-up, see up on the screen, number 20 ranked Homestead against number 5 ranked Harrison. Like, nobody expected us to be there this year. We fought hard. We were leading. The game ended up going into overtime. We lost in penalties. And so it's just kind of a bittersweet moment, right? At the end of a game, like you got to a place no one expected you to get to, but you lose it in just a heartbreaking, crushing way with penalties. But the cool moment was there were 3 players from Harrison that walked up to our guys after the game when the rest of their team is celebrating, walked over and gave our guys hugs, the ones that missed penalty, saved, and stood there and talked to our captains and our seniors a little bit. And it was just a cool moment of just camaraderie and understanding. And like, we could punch each other in the mouth on the field, but afterwards, like, let's, we're good. And so there are a few moments like that this season that I thought were really strong. And that one was the most recent. So that's my
soccer moment of the week.
yeah. I had to get you on that one. All right, let's get into some of these regional games. Let's start with the 1A boys. We won't talk about this one too much because we'll talk more about it with Sam when he comes on. But Blackhawk, man, moving on to the state semifinals with 5-0 wins over Argos semifinals, and then 5-0 win over Andrean, and they'll face Covenant Christian in the semifinals. So again, lots we could talk about there. We'll talk about that with Sam when he comes on. So let's move to the 2A regionals. We had Leo over Lures in penalties after a 1-1 draw. Did you see any of this match or hear news of this match? Either one of you, Dustin, I'll let you jump in there.
I watched the PKs. We were watching the other game that was going on at the same time, and so switched it over and watched the PKs to see Leo win. I know players on both teams personally, so it was really intense to watch. I'm really glad that wasn't a game that my son was playing in, to be completely honest. But it was overall, it was great. It was great play. It's always fun to go to PKs, not necessarily maybe for you guys as keepers, but as a fan to watch.
Bring it on.
Yeah, you love it. You don't so much.
It wasn't my favorite. No.
I was crazy, man. I love PKs. Bring it on.
Yeah. No. So it was a good game to watch back and forth, and then so that was it. It was sad for Anzini, to make it there after, redemption of beating Concordia in sectionals. But it was good for Leo. Again, I think a lot of our teams, we talked about it, were really good this year. So to see them have to come up against each other in regional play is always sad to see because somebody has to lose. But right. I felt like either team could have pulled that out, and Leo they were the better team that night. So,
yeah. And I heard Ian Ringer, Leo's striker, ended up with a concussion, I believe, or head injury somehow the night or the game before that. He got hit, punched by a goalkeeper, and went down hard on the ground, hit his head. And so I don't know that he was even playing that match. Definitely wasn't playing in the regional finals. I don't remember the sequence of when he got hurt. So he went down. And so many of these teams are playing with either injuries or, as we'll hear in a moment, illness potentially in one of the other games. And so that's just, it happens with, a congested schedule of games when in high school, when you're playing Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, so many times that those things happen. So congrats to Leo and their win over Lures. And then Leo ended up losing to Hanover Central 1-0. And what I heard was a pretty fluky goal to send them home in the regional finals. So congrats to Leo for making it that far for sure. The 3A boys, Homestead over Carroll in overtime. And that was the match of the week, I think. Like it was as unbiased as I can be. I'll say I'm a Homestead coach, as unbiased as I can be. That was a tough game. Both teams fought hard. Carroll scored first early in the match in a beautiful backflip celebration by Jonah Baranda right in front of the Homestead fans, showing off. But man, well deserved. And then Homestead sends it to overtime and then scores 2 quick ones in the first overtime period and holds it off in the second overtime period. So it was just a battle all around, man. It was, Homestead ended up with a red card in the last few moments of the match when we played at Carroll. and Carroll ended up with a couple of red cards in the last few moments of the match on our field here. So yeah, it was something. Dustin, I believe that was the other game you were watching.
It was. We watched from start to finish. It was a very good game. Honestly, it was a very good game. I felt like, unfortunately, the better team won in that game. From our standpoint, but I felt like overall it was super close the entire time, and those last 2 goals in overtime just completely like deflated everything. But they fought till the end. Carroll fought to the end, and it was sad to see it happen. Exciting for Homestead. I wish that it would have then in the championship game would have gone the other way. To be completely honest, it's always better to lose to the victor. But no, I felt like it was a super physical game across the board. Like both teams were super physical and fought really hard. And so yeah, it Carroll won in regular season and Homestead wins in the postseason. So I think both teams are great teams. Again, it's sad when they have to play each other and when you could see both teams kind of go a little bit deeper in the tournament. So
yeah.
But yeah, really good game. It was really fun to watch back and forth from our iPad. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was wild. And as what I just said about the Harrison game where guys came up and like congratulated each other, there was a little bit of that in the Homestead Carroll game, but it was like these guys know each other so well.
Yeah.
And I think they were both were like a bit frustrated. And so I'm sure they've connected since then, but it was tough after that match. Yeah, so congrats on Carroll had a great season for sure. And Homestead, I'll tell you this again, as unbiased as I can possibly be, no one expected Homestead to be where they were this year. The boys played hard, had a great season. Like I said, ranked number 20. I probably should have been higher. That's my biased opinion. Probably should have been higher, but ranked 20 going into the regional finals. We knocked off Carmel early in the season, who was ranked 3rd. And that was our only loss of the season. Beat Carroll there in the the regional semifinals, and competed with Harrison, who was a state runner-up, ranked 5th at that point at the end. So Homestead had a great season. Carroll had a great season. One of them had to move on. And again, unfortunately, we told you the outcome of the regional final. Homestead dropping that one to Harrison there. Moving on to the girls, because there were a lot of girls games, just as many girls games going on. Homestead 5-1 over Northrop. And it sounds, I believe, Northrop's keeper, Destiny, was injured earlier in the game. It sounds like that changed I didn't see this matchup, but changed the trajectory of the game a little bit. Autumn, did you play Northrop this season?
We did.
I can't remember. Yeah. How did that one? I mean, your thoughts on Northrop as a team? I know they're a good team going in. They made it that far, but surprised on their exit, or
I'm not
expected?
No. I think Northrop, especially when I compare from last year to this year, they had a good stepping stone, and so it was no surprise that they had the result that they did. Yeah. They were a good squad.
And I believe they hosted that regional. Homestead traveled there. And so Nuri and Allison Diaz finished their high school careers there. But there's a lot of young talent at Northrop. We've talked about at length a couple times this season on the show. So looking forward to Northrop's future here in the next couple of years. In the 3A regional final, Homestead obviously moved on to play HSE, and we got to see some of that game. I think there were storms coming. They were supposed to play after us, but got moved to before us on the same field in Kokomo. And so got to see a little bit of that matchup. Homestead went ahead early in the first half, and HSE scored one in the second to tie it up. And then a heartbreaker in the last 10 seconds of the game. HSE scored the game winner on a little bit of a slip up, I think, from one of Homestead's players. It was hard. It happens, but that's the way that game ended. Channing with a goal early for Homestead. Emma Canales played a great game. I did get to see, she made some great saves. Like it looked like Homestead was just packing it in the box to keep HSE out, and Emma just continued to make some great saves there. So good job for Homestead. Season, Audrey Johnson with 29 goals, which was pretty awesome. Brayley Morris, 16 assists. Just some great stats. I know we didn't go stats on all these teams, but with Paul in the background here, we have some stats on Homestead. So thanks, Paul, for all you do on all these stats and all these games for sure.
I will say I watched that the ending of that game and have never been so deflated in watching that goal go in. I mean, I saw HSE play Carroll, and then I watched that game, and HSE is a really good team. I think what he said, they only let 5 goals in all season.
So. Yeah,
that was the 5th goal that they let in all season, and so they're a good team. And so to see Homestead battle and play so well, and for just that last 10 seconds to watch that goal, like we were sitting there and I was just like, that's like your worst nightmare, like to watch that happen, like right at the end of the game. You could have, and so mad props to Homestead. I felt like they had an amazing season, first of all, and just to go out like that is super. It's tough to watch from even from an outsider's perspective. That was really tough to watch. I was really rooting for them. So
yeah. It was a heartbreaker for sure. And then our boys had to go out and be like, all right, let's try and do this now, and go to penalties and lose there. So if you've never been to Kokomo though, man, I had never been to this facility. It is phenomenal. I was blown away. That's how often Homestead boys get to that point in the tournament. So, and then we got Belmont over Dwenger in the regional semifinal. And Emily Barton, the goalkeeper, it goes to PKs, right? Saves 3 penalties. And then, by the account I've heard, stepped up and took the winning PK, scored. Autumn, just real quick, like as a goalkeeper, you're nervous, right? You're on the line, like you've got to save your team. And then the nerves of being a shooter as well. Have you ever been in that situation? Have you ever wanted to be in that situation, to do both?
To be honest, I never really had a whole lot of PKs in my career.
Taken on you? Really?
Yeah, 100%.
Wow. Okay.
And I've never had to be where it came down in game. Well, maybe a few, when it came down to PKs in high stakes situations like this. But no, as a keeper, this is all new to me, because I'm like, oh, they're facing so many more PKs than I ever did. But I think I would have loved that moment. I think I would have loved it. Yeah.
And would have stepped up and said, let me take one too?
Yeah.
Oh my.
I love that.
Do you really?
Oh my gosh. I love that. I do. I honestly, I think that's awesome. There's no freaking way I would ever do that as like a keeper. Like there's no freaking way. So that's
really?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
so that's awesome.
You're already technically, quote unquote, used to the pressure when it comes
That's
to
true.
saving PKs. So to me, it's not anything.
It's different though. I'm going to keep you out of the net. I'm not going to trust myself to get in the net. Like I'm afraid I'm going to kick it out of the net too. So I loved PKs, and I don't think any team I played on ever lost when we went to PKs, like in games and tournaments and things. Now, it doesn't mean I've never been scored on, but we've always won games that came down to PK. So maybe that's why I remember them fondly. I don't know, but I don't know that I would have wanted to take one. So kudos to Emily Barton, who apparently in a post-game interview also said she's never taken a PK before.
That is wild.
Said, I want to win this game for my team. So awesome. Good there. They went on, unfortunately, to lose to Mishawaka Marion 4-1 in the finals there. And then in the 1A regional, Blackhawk fell to Faith Christian. The girls fell to Faith Christian 2-0 in the regional semifinals. So we did get to experience and watch a lot of these games that we weren't participating in and we weren't coaching and our kids weren't playing in because of Summit City Sports and their coverage. So thank you to them. We've tried to have Tim Atkinson on the last couple of weeks. We'll try and get him on still here as the tournament continues from Summit City Sports, but appreciate their coverage and all that they do for high school soccer in the area. So thank you for that. We do want to bring on Sam here, Sam Meyer. Big congratulations to all the teams from Fort Wayne, but Blackhawk boys are the only ones continuing their run to the state semifinals. So we're bringing on Sam Meyer, head coach of the Blackhawk Christian boys. Sam, I don't know that our people know this, but you're a returning guest. We had you on at our Fort Wayne Sport Club tournament, and we didn't have the ability to record. Our cameras weren't working that first show, and so only the people there live saw you and heard you. So welcome back to the show.
Okay.
Glad to have you, man.
That was a trial run.
It was.
Yeah, it's trial run. Trial run.
I got the
Actually,
I got the nerves out there, and now I'm just happy to be here now for the real
yeah.
thing.
Dustin was like, actually, like, could you delete that? That wasn't good. No.
No, I felt so bad. I was like, shoot, that didn't get recorded. Okay, well then we need to have him back on. That's what needs to
Yeah.
There you go.
happen. So.
And happy
No,
to, yeah. If this goes poorly, we'll just do it a third time and just call it a
That's
third time again.
There you go.
Oh man. Well, Sam, we met on the soccer field when Blackhawk came to Homestead on our senior night. We had a tough battle 0-0 there. We talked about that a little bit last time, but you guys have moved on to the state semifinals now, winning your last two matches 5-0, pretty decisively in regionals. So congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
You guys have, I wouldn't say a dip in form, but it seemed like you weren't putting as many goals away late in the season. Maybe it was a competition you played. But now you going into regionals, it seems like you guys are back where you started the season, just putting goals away nonstop. What, in your, estimation as coach, like what has changed, or was it competition that you were playing there, or?
I'd say there's two things. It's pretty easy. One of them is a pretty easy answer is our leading goal scorer went down with the calf strain. So
okay,
he's, as of right now, has 37 goals in the season. When you lose him, we lose our top goal scorer. So, and when you lose your top goal scorer against the likes of a Northrop, likes of a Homestead and likes of a Leo, two of those three being ranked, all three being top 4 ranked competition and winning seasons, we were able to compete just fine. It was a harder time putting goals away. And we just kind of tried to take the opportunity to say, look, James is out. We're kind of nursing this. We're taking it a bit lighter, keeping him off for precautionary reasons. So other guys, this is your opportunity to step up, score goals, be the man, create chances. And either way, in the long run, we're a team. We're not just James. So when we step onto these postseason runs, we're going to want James to be able to create and score, but teams are going to know about James. So other guys are going to have to step up. So this is a perfect opportunity for these guys to step up and take advantage of whatever opportunities are given to them in highly competitive, strong competition games. So it was both. It was really good competition, and it was an injury we had to manage on the sidelines.
So that makes sense.
Yeah. Sam, I have a question. As a coach, how does it feel heading into the state semifinal, especially being the last one standing for Fort Wayne?
I'm tired. I haven't slept in
I was
2
gonna
weeks. I'm usually one to type to err on over preparation and under preparation. So if I don't just find film on a team, I try to find 3 games of film on a team. They're heavy win, a competitive game, a loss. I want to watch all 3. And honestly, I don't know if you guys know, like my first season at Blackhawk, we didn't win a game. We didn't win a single game. Went 0-13-3. So as we're making this deeper run, it's kind of uncharted territory for me. So it's all kind of pressure based. There's all a lot of unexpected or unexperienced things. So when it comes down to it, I mean, all of it's new, and we're just kind of taking all the stride. So it's just kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. I don't know when that straw is coming. There's a lot of things that are really enjoyable in the experience, and if we look at them as stressors, they'll turn into negatives. And they could just be positives. It's like, hey, take it in stride and let's have some fun along the ride.
Yeah, for sure.
As you're looking at things and as like you're preparing and you're going forward, we talked, I'll be honest, all 3 of us said from the beginning that you guys were a special team from the beginning of the season. When we started seeing you guys play, we kept talking about it. We kept talking about it. So we're not shocked that you guys are where you are. But my question is, as you're preparing for this, the semi-state, and you've captured now the attention of the entire city because you are the one representing school moving forward. How does that feel from the city, from the fans, from the parents, your school? How is that support feeling for the team?
It feels wonderful. I've had a lot of people reach out, friends, family. I mean, you guys, the soccer community in Fort Wayne. It's a big city, but it's a small community of soccer. So, I mean, you guys, Dustin, I've known you and your son from coaching camps and stuff. Like everybody's reached out. The texts I'm getting from coaches that were competitive with through the season, guys that get my phone number that I didn't know had my phone number, had avenues to get my phone number, texting me that I knew, congratulatory. The support has been fantastic, especially like, kind of, Brian, as you pointed out, like at the end of the day, this is a competitive atmosphere. These are guys I competed against, and here they are being supportive and kind. It's been a very, very enjoyable, fun experience. And I'm very methodical. So as we are moving on, each step, I'm trying to stick with the process that has been successful for the boys all year long. I have a game itinerary of 5-minute windows. Warm up this 5 minutes. Next 5 minutes we do bands. Next 5 minutes we do technical 3. And it's like I still print that out for regional final. Is the same thing as I did for our scrimmage, the first game of the season. We haven't tweaked anything in that warm up. Our pregame, our post game, we cool downs after. We're trying to just stick to the things that have been successful. We stick with the things that have been successful. The things that we're finding aren't working, okay, we're done with those, and we just take it all in stride. I mean, we'd be foolish to look at the postseason games as if they're not, as if they're the same as regular season. They're not, but we do know what was successful for us then. So let's stick with it because it's been successful for us, and we'll do it now too.
Yeah. Okay, I have one. Hopefully it's less pressure here, or maybe more. I don't know. But as a coach, we tend to ask here on the show for players, especially when it came to Fort Wayne FC. So I have to ask you now, what is your pregame meal or pregame ritual that you always do?
So pregame meal is probably just a Subway. There's Subway right down the street from Blackhawk, and the parents for away games order the coaches and the players Subway. So I'd probably go with Subway. And the deeper this postseason run has gone, the less I'm able to stomach that Subway, and the more anxious and more nerves I have. And I force feed it to myself. I'm like, well, I'll throw up if I don't eat it, or I'll throw up if I do. So maybe I just haven't. And honestly, as far as like pregame rituals, like I said, there's nothing. I'm a gum chewer, so I'm going through packs of gum. But as I said, I'm really methodical. So as we have our team talk, and the boys, sometimes we're annoyed at the team talk because I have a condensed version of the team talk. Because the day before I gave an hour-long version of the team talk. I'm like, just making sure you don't forget these minor details because there's the minor things that help us be successful. But after we have the team talk, I give the boys 10 minutes for their own mental preparations, listen to music, get your guards on. And as they're doing that, I'm setting out cones, I'm putting pennies down. Because once we turn that on, I read in Sir Alex Ferguson's book, it's like, if I need to be coaching while we're doing the warm up, then there's a lot of things we need to be working on. Mm-hmm. So if we're being successful, the warm up, I should just be able to say, go. Mm-hmm. And they are locked in and they're focused on. So that's a Subway meal, chewing gum anxiously and nervously, and then walking around trying to find something to do or just looking busy because I don't actually have anything to do. Just watching the boys warm up, thinking, I don't need to fix anything. They're doing it well.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's so true, right? Like, I think as a goalkeeper coach, and I'm coaching my guys in warm-ups, they're warming up, but if I'm saying like, hey, actually get your hands behind it a little bit, I'm like, if I tell them to tweak anything right now, it's going to mess up everything that they're already doing, right?
Yeah.
And so that's super wise piece of advice there for coaches. So Sam, you talk about watching a couple sets of film, like three versions of film. I don't know if you've gotten there with Covenant Christian yet, because you just found out they're your opponent. Maybe you have. Maybe you've been preparing ahead of time already. But what do you know about Covenant?
I've got two. I've requested 3 more. So that's
okay. All
Okay.
right. What do you know going into this game? I know you got some time to prepare yourself and your team. What do you know about Covenant going in, and what kind of games is looking like?
Well, we know they're arguably the strongest team in 1A. Competitively, they're the team that we knew if we were going to be hypothetically making a deep run, we would probably be running into them. We know they play a very competitive schedule filled with lots of ranked opponents. We know they've got numerous goal scorers and numerous threats that we need to be able to take care of if we want to stay competitive in this match. And as far as deep film criticism and scouting reports thus far, I haven't delved too much into the film, but I do know. I mean, I've been talking to the boys all year. If we want to try to put ourselves in these conversations of us not only a strong team, but one of the better teams in Fort Wayne or one of the better teams in 1A, you can't put yourselves in those conversations if you don't have competition in games with the teams that are already in the competition.
Yeah.
So as we look forward to these games. As we move in this tournament and enter into these games, these are the games we wanted to be a part of. We knew the Westview game in sectionals against a previous state champ, handful of years back, and a highly ranked team is going to be one that we needed to compete in and take very seriously. This one's no different. And if, like I said, if we wanted, and that's been our goal as of recently, is we knew if in Fort Wayne as a small school, we can step into the ring with the big boys and go toe to toe, we think we're setting ourselves up for success in the class of 1A. It's just a good barometer. And it's been a relatively successful theory thus far. So I think this weekend when we play Covenant, it'll be a really good test.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Sam, congrats on just a successful season, man. I know it's not over yet. You got a few more games yet to play. For you, I would imagine to call it a successful season. But no, you guys have, like I said, surprised a lot of people. But a lot of us have had our eyes on you from the get-go and going, all right, this is going to be a team to beat, and this is going to be a team that's going to go deep in the tournament. So once again, congratulations, man. Best of luck next week against Covenant Christian, and then the following weekend against whoever your opponent ends up being in the state championship. Thanks for joining us tonight, man. We're looking forward to following you. Any last thoughts?
I'm just in a real conundrum because my wife's favorite holiday is Halloween, and it's like I kind of want to be playing some soccer during Halloween. So I really don't know what to do. It's
weird that it's
maybe I could take my kids to trick or treat in Indy. Maybe that would be the solution.
Probably like Carmel.
Balance.
I'd go to Carmel, like maybe one of those neighborhoods in Carmel. You got it.
King size candy bar.
Yeah.
We'll find the neighborhoods to go to. Thanks, guys.
Feed the team before the game. There you go.
Great diet.
Awesome. Sam, thanks again, man. Good to see you.
Yeah. Anytime.
All right. Oh man, that was fun. He's a good guy. I'm glad we had him back on so people could enjoy a little bit of his sense of humor and his competitiveness and his nature there. So best of luck to Blackhawk moving forward. Hey, we do want to remind you, if you're a fan of Fort Wayne Footy and want to help us expand our offerings, consider supporting us over on Patreon. Your support also gives you access, not us, but gives you access to additional content and live chats. We currently have $5 and $10 a month tiers, as well as one-time donations. That if you want to do that, don't want to be a monthly supporter, but you do want to support and give to our cause here of growing the soccer community in Fort Wayne, just click buy this post and you can donate $15, $30, or $50 to help support Fort Wayne Footy. There's a link in the description of this podcast. Click that, choose your tier, and we'll see you on the other side. We do thank Christina and Ryan as our Patreon supporters, our monthly supporters right now, and a few that have given one-time donations. I do have to say this. We talked about doing a live chat last Thursday. And as our team continued on in the tournament and schedules and practice schedules and things changed, we had to not do that last week. So apologies, but we will try and get that on the calendar here real soon for you. While we're here, before we move on, Dustin, I asked you to remind me of something. Do you remember what that was?
I do. We need to announce a winner.
A winner from the tournament,
Laser.
a sport club tournament. We had a Laser X team giveaway, and we had a few people put in their names for their team to win the party, the Laser X laser tag party. And we're going to find out our winner here. I'm going to put a spinner up on the screen. We had 11 contestants, or 11 people put their name in for their team. Going to put a spinner up here on the screen to find out who the winner is. These are just numbers, and then I'll compare them to our chart here. You ready? Here we go.
It's fancy spinner and everything. Look at this.
Fancy spinner and everything. Number 5. All right, let's go to my chart here and see who our 5th sign up was. It looks like number 5 is. Can we get a drum roll? I don't have that sound effect on.
Autumn, go for it, Autumn.
All right. Our winner is Lydia Slyby. Is that how you say that? From Dwenger High School. From
Nice.
Bishop Dwenger. Lydia Slyby from Bishop Dwenger. I will get in touch with you if you're not watching the podcast, or if nobody from Dwenger is watching or listening this week. I'll be sure to get in touch with you and get you your Laser X tickets for your Bishop Dwenger party. So congratulations there. And let's move on in our rundown here for, yes, that's JV girls, Bishop Dwenger JV girls. We had a comment there from backstage. Lydia from Dwenger JV.
Yeah.
Yep. Congratulations on that. I'll make sure you get the tickets and you guys can schedule your time with Laser X and go from there. Let's move to the news from Fort Wayne FC camp that there is a rebrand coming. There's a rebrand party happening, or a brand reveal party happening Thursday, 5:30, starting at 5:30. There's snacks. There's going to be a cash bar there. It's all happening at Promenade Park Pavilion. And we're going to be there. And I'm excited. Like, we're not going to be there. We're going to be there as fans. We're not just going to be there as fans. We're going to be there broadcasting live from the event. So I'm excited about that and appreciate the invite from Fort Wayne FC to be there to do that. So we've talked a little bit, like, we don't know anything other than there's a brand reveal coming, and that they've invited us to be part of that. But as you guys look to that event, look to that potentially brand reveal, what are you hoping for? What are you looking forward to? I mean, what are your expectations? Do you have any yet?
I don't have any expectations. I'm just excited. Honestly, I'm excited to be a part of it. Like, the fact that we were asked to be a part of it is super cool to me. Like, I think that the excitement surrounding the fact that the stadium is being built, we're moving to USL 1, and now we have our coach that has been announced, and now we're starting to, we're rebranding, and we're going to have this launch party. I think the excitement is there, and I'm just glad to be a part of it and to be able to see what ends up happening. I have no doubt that it's going to be a cool brand. Like, I mean, they're not gonna, it's not like I'm like nervous, like, oh, I hope they don't mess this up. I think, they've got all the right people there. I'm excited to see what it looks like. They've been teasing some things that we've tried to read into a little bit. We talked about a little bit beforehand. But we have no idea. We don't know what it is. We're just I guess investigators trying to figure out what it's going to be.
Yep.
So
good word. That's a good word for it. Yeah. Autumn, thoughts?
I mean, Fort Wayne FC hasn't disappointed yet with their branding and marketing. And I have no doubt that they will continue to do so. So I'm just really excited. I don't have any expectations. I'm just like, I think Dustin said it perfectly. I think it's just very kind of them to allow us to be a part of that event. Especially as a community as well, to come around them and celebrate that. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to it. I'm excited. I think a lot of the excitement in this build up, Thursday night will help with that. So I'm just looking forward to that. Yeah.
Ryan's in the chat saying the speculation game is fun. And it
is.
It really is. And I'll tell you, talked to Dustin about a week or so ago, or whenever it was revealed that they were doing the brand reveal. And I was like, man, I saw some things on social media that I think I know maybe what it could look like. And then there's been more posted and I'm like, I think I was totally wrong. But again, it's all speculation. It's going to be fun once the reveal happens on Thursday to look back, for me anyway, to look back at the social media and go, the
that's what
words
that
they
meant.
were using, the things they were hinting at, like, what is it? Oh, this is what it is. And that makes a lot of sense because my mind is going in all sorts of different directions on this one. But I'm really looking forward to being there on Thursday. Now, the plan is for now, and it could change between now and then, but as of now, the plan is for us to be there and to do a live show after the brand reveal. And so we'll get some live reactions from people who are there. So hopefully you can join us and you can be there and maybe be part of the show that night. And we'll have hopefully some of the graphics and things by then that we can share if you aren't able to be there that you can see on the show. But again, some of that is yet to be determined, and we'll go from there. But it is going to be a party, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. So don't rely on our coverage. Like, we want you to be there, and we want to see you in person. And we'll just share with those who can't make it or those who are out of town after the fact with a live show. So maybe you can get on and wave to your mom or something in Dayton, Ohio, or wherever. And it'll be a good time. Just looking forward to that one.
I guess here's my one hope. Not expectation, but hope is that Ari's mom is there.
Oh, yeah, she needs to be there.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Raquel,
I know she listens. If she's listening,
yeah, Raquel, you have duties. Please report.
I love her, and I would love for her to be there. I'm excited to see the people that were there the whole season, that we met, that we talked to. I'm excited to see them. And just, I don't know. I drove past the stadium today. I've been gone for almost 2 weeks, and progress is like drastic in that span of time. And so it's just exciting. I don't know. It made me more excited to see the roof on. And then as we were talking tonight more about the reveal party, it's just, going into this upcoming season, I feel like people are talking a lot more than they were the last couple of years, and they were successful the last couple of years. But this move has been so highly publicized and so highly talked about that it's exciting from people that maybe didn't even come to a game at Bishop Darcy Stadium. It's exciting to see the hype. And so I'm just excited to see how many people turn up. I'm excited to see what the brand looks like, and to be a part of, moving forward with the team. So,
my whole takeaway from that whole segment is Dustin's looking forward to seeing who turns up on Thursday. So,
I am.
Yeah.
So turn up, people.
Oh man. It was in the news this week that the lights in the stadium and the board was looking for, it was being approved and all of that. And so that's good to see. I know Justin was from the communications director there. Justin Cohn has been on our show a couple times. I believe he even made an appearance on ESPN. They're talking about all these new USL and USL championship stadiums that are being built. And Fort Wayne is just in the mix of this growing soccer community that's happening all around the country right now. With the World Cup coming next year, there's a lot of things that are going into place and are getting a lot more attention and a lot more eyes on them because of the news coverage and coverage like ours that's happening all over the country. So pretty exciting stuff there. Brings me to another item of news as we transition out of Fort Wayne FC and we transition into this report that was just released today or yesterday on from the, let's see who it was, the Next Gen College Soccer Committee in partnership with US Soccer released a white paper, some studies that they had done and some recommendations that they're making for the college game that I think have some significant ramifications for high school athletes looking to move into college, because it may be very different in 2 years than it is now as you're looking and as you're being recruited. And so the idea is there's 3 things they're looking at. And if I can remember off the top of my head, I don't know, maybe you guys can pull those up, or I can pull those up, or someone backstage maybe can pull those up. Essentially what they're trying to do is help the college athlete, right? Help them develop better, more align with the professional leagues that are more year round, and make it more financially sustainable for the institution, and allow for players that are in the system, in the college system, to make appearances with their national teams or with professional teams, play in other competitions, and be able to come back and still be able to play with their college teams. So there's a lot here. There's a lot that's happening with this study. And so a couple takeaways, like we'll post the link. I didn't do it earlier on, but when we release this, I'll go back, I'll post the link to the white paper so you can go check it out, and maybe we'll post some news on our website, maybe even have a Patreon conversation about it, because I think it's really interesting. So here's a couple of my takeaways from this is they want to provide educational opportunity and make the college game serve as more of a pipeline for professional leagues. And the thinking is this, by my understanding, is the college game is so compact. It's a fall season right now, and there's the games are really congested. It's just like a high school season, right? There's multiple games a week. And at that level, when you're running that much, when you're taking hits that often, like it takes a toll on your body. And so there's this recovery that doesn't get to happen, like in a professional setup where you're playing once a weekend, and it's spread out. So they want to give players opportunities to recover between games, which means spacing out their games. And so there will be the recommendation, this has not been decided, the recommendation is that the games are spread out. There's a fall season and a spring season. There's 2 months off, December and January, in the winter, for players to take off, do other things, and then an extended summer because they're not showing up for preseason necessarily, because it's built into the regular school year rhythm, which aligns better with world soccer, right? So that's part of it. It's a year-round season instead of a truncated season, which, if you think about it, well, I'll get into implications later. That's one of the things that stood out to me. They're looking at more regionalized, instead of conferences where you're traveling, however many hours away to your conference, would be more of a regional thing, where you're not traveling as much. So travel is going to be less expensive. The actual travel, and then lodging and all that, there won't necessarily be a need for that. So it's designed to save institutions money. And then, so this is primarily for the men's game. And they want to modernize the eligibility rules, like they have for other college sports. And primarily it's for Division I soccer. Now for the women's game, they're looking to extend it, I think, into July, start it earlier in the fall, keep that summer fall season, and then add a competition, like a meaningful competition, not like preseason scrimmages and things or off-season scrimmages, but a meaningful competition in the spring. Because women's soccer, apparently, according to the study, more aligns with the NWSL and U.S. Women's, and players can kind of float in and out of there. Because there's more U.S. players in the U.S. college system of female players. The college system for men is heavily, I think it's like 60% is what the study shared, international players, or maybe 54 or 46%. And so they want to get more American players in the system playing for American teams, colleges, and moving on. So there's a lot we could talk about there. Those are some of my takeaways from the highlights anyway. We can get into some implications, but as you guys read that study and learned a little bit about it, what stood out to you? What questions do you have that you think this really addresses well? Or maybe, I don't know about this one.
I thought the cost saving was kind of blew my mind. The article I'm reading on ESPN is saying that it could save anywhere from $225,000 to $350,000 in costs for each program from a travel perspective. That's huge. I work in higher ed, and I know how much cutting costs is a huge deal, like even more so as we move forward. And so that's huge for any college, especially D1 colleges, to save money on that. We're seeing colleges that are getting rid of programs because of cost saving things. And so if they can save that, that's going to be huge. So that's a huge positive that I see from it. The negative is, I don't know that I see necessarily any negative right now. I would say, is there potential that having so long between games could, like, and you're playing that, that long of a season, that you're used to playing like you have for so long, that it could cause more issues than not? Maybe. But I think anything you do that changes things is going to take a little time to get used to. So I see a lot of positives in this. I think personally, U.S. soccer has needed to make a change in relationship to this for a really long time. And so I think this is one way to make the steps in the right direction. But I don't know how they'll get over the hurdles or how they'll get the pass. But I think it has real great implications for players, to be completely honest.
Yeah. Autumn, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of piggyback off of Dustin in terms of the cost savings. I think when I originally read this, I read it in a negative way. And so hearing that, I think it changes my perspective a little bit from that perspective, especially like I get that they want to launch this out at D1s, but if this is going to be a longevity thing and you're looking futuristically and you're talking D2s and D3s with the smaller schools, when you're saving $25,000+, I mean, that's huge, especially for the smaller schools, that rely and depend on that. So I think that could be a positive if this takes off. That's probably years down the road from now, but if that becomes a thing, I think that would be a positive. One thing that I would be concerned about, again, I'm thinking longer than this article is even touching on, right? Like this is where my brain goes, is really far down in the future of, okay, yeah, if this launches, yeah, when you get to the D1 athletes, they're in it to win it. They want to play that sport. That's all they're dedicated towards. But when you think of the D2s and the D3s, where you have some of those students who are they chose to play at that level and they're gung-ho about playing soccer 24/7. This is my life. I want to make it to the pros. Great. But you also have some of those athletes on the exact same teams that are double or triple sport athletes at these smaller schools. So if you're expanding that soccer season to be year round, or you're pushing the women's seasons back, what does that look like for the future of athletes who are at the smaller schools who might not want to make that commitment or don't want to go to the professional level, but now they're going to have to maybe pick and choose? That would be one downside that I would see. And maybe there's ways around it. This is just me kind of spitballing out here. But that would be just one concern I would probably have late in the future if this does take off, is what does that look like for multi-sport athletes who maybe don't see that,
Well, how many, my question then would be, how many, like what percentage of college athletes are multi-sport athletes? Right. And then what percentage of those are soccer players who play multiple sports? Because I was talking about this with somebody earlier today, and we were thinking like some football players play lacrosse, right? Some basketball players might play another sport, but when soccer seems to be like, before you get to college, let's think about this. Like before you get to college, soccer is a year-round sport. You've got club and you've got high school that alternate seasons, or maybe you just play club year-round. High school doesn't, right? They just play one season, spring, fall, or winter, depending on what part of the country you're in. So you play one season. You get to the college level, and I think this is where this is coming from. You get to the college level, and you're not playing club anymore. You're having a really condensed, really competitive season, potentially, but you could be the best team in your conference and not have any real competitive games. So for your whole season, you're playing games. Some are competitive, maybe some are not. And then you have the whole spring off, and maybe you get a chance to play somewhere like USL2 in the summer. And then like a professional team wouldn't start until fall, or your college season doesn't start till fall. So there's these months from January to like May that you're not playing competitively. And I think that's the thing is, are we losing a step because our athletes are not engaging in competitive games for months before they're called in to play at a semi-pro or professional level. So they want to stretch that out. I also think, think back to my playing days and, watching my kids play in their college sports and my son play it is a really condensed season. It goes really fast. You take a knock and you want to fight through it, because if you go down, you could miss 3 or 4 games, right? So you want to fight through it. And so you get to an end of a season, you're like, oh, okay, I can finally rest. Well, if your season goes, I've got 8 weeks now, and I've got 8 weeks or 10 weeks or whatever in the spring, like I might miss a game, but I'm going to rest that game, let this thing heal, because then I've got 2 weeks off. I'm not missing 3, 4, 5 games in that 2-week span. So I do like the thinking on this for that reason. And with, Major League Soccer is also talking about moving to an international schedule, which would more align with this too. I don't know that they'll do that. I know they've had meetings the last couple seasons about that, and they're talking about it again this off season. To align with that. And so the college move to that seems to align in that way as well. So that's some of my thoughts there. Any other thoughts on that?
No, I think there's a lot that still has to be decided. You know what I mean? I think it's the research is there. You know what I mean? Like, they wrote the white paper for a reason. It's not like they just kind of out of thin air decided to make these decisions. So there's obviously benefits to it. I'll be interested to see how it plays out. I'll be interested to see what changes in the process and in the recommendations moving forward. But I think, it's early stages, but I can see the benefits. I hadn't thought about the downfall of the multi-sport athlete situation from obviously not so much D1, but young, the smaller schools. But it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. I mean, when I was reading this article, I just think back to my playing days, and I'm like, I played with multi-sport athletes. Like almost half of our team was that. And so when I was like trying to picture myself in this movement, it's like, oh, how would that work? And academically speaking, right? For those who are there to pursue studies rather than sports, like what does that do to their schedule? When I think of my roommates who were pre-med, like they barely survived as student athletes and relied on the off season, with their studies, because their degrees were so rigorous and demanding. And so it's like, what does that balance in the future look like for athletes?
I'll play devil's advocate to that, though, because I think, again, if you're on a more regimented routine schedule of 1 game a week, you've got time to relax and rest. You will probably have a day off every week in there to recover. You may have, recovery days where you're, stretching, rolling out, whatever, doing some light work, but maybe not competing on the field constantly. Your body's getting more rest. You can plan things out maybe a little bit better.
True.
Because it's not like, all right, we play on Tuesday. We got to train on Wednesday, and we got to recover somewhere in there because we got to jump on a bus Thursday for a game on Friday that's, out of town 3 states away. Right. Like going in, we're going to travel on Fridays, play Saturdays. We'll be back Mondays off. You know what I mean? Like, the balance, I think there's an adjustment that needs to be made, but I think there's a balance that can be struck there. This did talk a lot about working around maybe like high intensity parts of your year. So like finals, like they've got December and January off. There's no games December, January. Yeah. And then it moves a tournament to better weather, like national tournament to like spring instead of, November, but still avoiding finals at the end of your season as well there. So there's a lot of things that we're talking, based on a cursory reading of this thing. We'll post the link, we'll post the article to the white paper where you can read it for yourself. And we'd be interested to know what you think about this. We've got a lot of comments in the background from Todd and Paul who are watching backstage, playing devil's advocate on a lot of this stuff too. So covering some of the things we've talked about and maybe some other things, but we would love to know your thoughts. Send us your thoughts to info@fortwaynefooty.com. We'd love to hear from you. Comment on this video if you watch it later. If you listen to this podcast later in this week, visit us on YouTube or Facebook and drop a comment there. Send us a message on social media, on Instagram even. Love to know what your thoughts are, what your questions are. If you have young athletes that are looking to play in college, like what does this mean for recruiting? We don't know that yet. This is not stuff that's going into play just now. It's just recommendations at this point, but it does have ramifications on our kids who are playing high school soccer and middle school soccer and even younger now. It will be interesting to see how this trickles down into youth leagues and travel and national leagues and all that stuff. If this goes at the D1 level and then potentially even trickle down, as you suggested, Autumn, to D2, D3, NAIA levels as well. So anyway, lots more to talk about on that one. We'll be interested to see how those recommendations and that white paper progress and forward that conversation. For now, thanks for joining us on this episode of Fort Wayne Footy. We look forward to seeing you live and in person on October 23rd, starting at 5:30 at the Promenade Park Pavilion at the Fort Wayne FC brand reveal party. We'll catch you then.